New Pack City, we are back. It's August 4th, 2021. Thank you for taking some time out to kick it with your favorite Hawks Hoopcast. I go by Lou Starsky. Got some great topics this week. It was a busy week, but as we say, we move. We will get into the trade that never was and the Tristan Thompson being traded to Sacramento trade. We'll get into the extension of Trae Young and the re-signing of John Collins, and we will definitely talk about our draft picks, and we'll also do a kind of a preseason power ranking of the Eastern Conference teams as the dust starts to settle. I'll be joined today by Chris Royster. We'll be joined by Chauncey, may do a little cameo today, and Eddie, aka Joe Biggs or Joe B, will be stopping by. But first, as always, make sure you share, subscribe, like, find us on YouTube, and special thanks to New Pack City Group, the originative brand, Arcalian Designs, shop.flickwick.com, and yeah, all the fans. And let's get started. I'm going to bring on Chris. We got Chris in the background already. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Lou? How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Pretty exciting week. I think a lot of anxiety is finally starting to settle. That was definitely, between the rumors of losing John for nothing, or John not taking this, or, everybody being a capologist. It seems like at least we know.
Yeah, it was I don't know, so much touch and go is just the unknown parts of it, that little lull time to be like, okay, well, there's the offer, okay, so now what? And then you still had those little feelers from Minnesota, that fake stuff we saw. But yeah, it was an interesting period, but at the end of the day, it got done. So,
and I'll say this: I don't get into like the everyday roller coaster when the free agency is going, like hanging on every little rumor. You just let it happen and then react to the action, because I see people in the group, and like, oh, he's not taking 5 for 120. Oh, he's not taking 5 for 125. Oh, then it's this and that. And, you just kind of go up and down with something that doesn't even exist. So now you get all of your emotions and all of this stuff exposed, or, poured into this idea that's not even real. So, with me, I just lay back and like, if it happens, it happens. Like with we got a Woj, I wouldn't call it a Woj bomb early this week. I'd call it kind of a revolver, because it didn't hit like that. It just came out, said we got Tristan Thompson, and then like 10 minutes later, when everybody was all excited about it, I
don't even know if it was 10 minutes. All I know, I did like this and I did like that. Yeah. All of a sudden, he wasn't here no more.
He's gone. It was like, man, I haven't felt like that deflated in a long time. It was just like, I think I really would have liked Tristan Thompson on this team. Like that would have been a good enough splash to definitely keep the excitement for the fans.
Yeah.
I will say the lack of big name free agent is going to rub people the wrong way, being an Atlanta fan. But I think it's a smart.
I don't know about that as much as this wasn't the year of the big name free agents that were really truthfully going to be available. I mean, at the end of the day, Kawhi is going back to LA. And really there was nobody else that, next year is going to be different, but this year wasn't that year, because one, we were 2 games away with the roster that we had half hurt, so when you get down to that and who was coming back, your main people were from your own team anyway, so I don't think with the majority of the fans that next year could be that year to where if they don't do the quote unquote splash, it might be a little bit different if we don't do maybe absolutely nothing. However, if we win the NBA Finals, what are you doing?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? Because we have the teams here, and we'll talk about that later as far as that word superstar.
Yeah, no, for sure. And with John Collins, like finally signing, I wonder what the details were, like as far as were other teams pursuing him, or did John Collins get the Hawks to bid against themselves? That's what I'm wondering.
That is the secret that we definitely would like to know, the other end of the story, because the hesitation, well, I even said it because everybody knows I'm the biggest John proponent probably out there for the most part. I've written articles, had it on the show and on my show, but it was a matter of once that 125 popped up, I'm like, okay, well, that's 40% more than 90. So now what's the hesitation? Because there isn't anything coming out from any other teams. So this is pretty much it. So that kind of made me pause a little bit. I was like, well, you don't really want to go to a losing team just for a couple more $1 million, do you, John?
Well, that's the thing, is like, and that was kind of the narrative that was brewing in people's heads, because it wasn't a real deal. It was like people were like, he's not taking this, he's being this, he's being that. And I just think it's I think we just have to wait, because there was no point in really going in on the idea of what John Collins was worth without knowing both sides. I just think it was a fruitless conversation. So I tried not to partake.
Until we actually get the word from either the general manager and or John and his people, it's all speculative anyway. And that's where I've been at. It's like, because I know what has been said. If that's changed, we want to know. That's all. Just let us know. Did you change your mind and say, okay, I want 150 million? Because like I said, when 125 dropped, I was just like, let's go. We're done.
Yeah. And I guess the first topic I do want to talk about, just to kind of recap, is our draft.
Okay.
What would you give our grade, the draft grade overall? We ended up getting a 6'9" Jalen Johnson, freshman forward from Duke. Tons of skills, very athletic, can't shoot. I mean, let's be honest, the guy's jumper looks super broken. Mike says it's fixable, but we'll see in a couple of years. But super freakish athlete, really good anticipation, looks very sturdy, NBA ready at 18, 19. Took some time off, which kind of let him fall to us. But if you go back and look, it looks like he's just been putting in work as a professional for the last 6 months. So, I mean, or last couple of months. So that might be a benefit for us.
Yeah, with Jalen and, of course, Sharif, we'll talk about him in a second. I mean, I guess we were talking about both players. If we're talking about the best player possible, and along with trying to fill at least one need, I would say we get at least an A or a B or a B plus somewhere in there. Because with Jalen, nothing is a sure thing. Nothing is guaranteed. I've always said that, of course. But he was going to be a top 5 supposedly, and we got him at 20. So that's not 20, but 20. So, but with Sharif, that's a possible backup for sure. Because again, there's only one other person who's done what he's done. That was Trae Young, averaged 20 and 8 in the college season as a freshman. I
just don't think he translates to the NBA as well, just simply due to the fact that he can't even shoot as good as Trae Young. But I don't see Sharif playing much on this team next year at all. I see him maybe getting a 2-way contract and kind of just seeing where we are with him. I don't think we'll push him at all. I don't think we'll. Maybe I consider him kind of in the Brandon Goodwin role at this point.
I don't want to say that, only because that's what everybody said about Trae. It's exactly what they said about Trae. He would not translate into the NBA. He's too small. Now the shooting part, that we can say that, but he still averaged 20 points in the SEC a game. So he was doing something out there, even if it's penetrating and getting layups. That's scoring. If he's a bucket, he's a bucket, and he also distributes the ball. So for me.
But it does.
There's a possibility, especially if we don't keep Luke. So,
but it does change in the NBA. I mean, if he is not going to be able to effectively shoot a jumper, people are not going to get up on him for him to be able to explode by him. They're just going to sag. I mean, and then he'll become ineffective. That's what I think. I think he won't have the passing lanes that he did in the NBA. But the thing is, like, this is all predicated on how hard the young man works. If he works really hard this year and gets a jumper, then all of this is for naught, because then he can go out there and do exactly what he needs to do. But But with Sharif Cooper, he's an Atlanta boy. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm excited about Jalen Johnson. I think he can be an immediate role player for this team. 6'9" guy, 6'9" body, can replace kind of Onyeke's minutes at first. He gets thrown in there, and I think the things that we'll ask him to do for us, he'll be able to do well. And I think he'll just get better and better. And I think that's a good pick for now and a good pick for later.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be replacing, Onyeka's minutes necessarily. I think he'll be.
Well, Onyeka's injured though, right?
Well, yeah, but that's where Name comes in because they were playing Big O as a center. So again, that's why I said right now we still need another center, as far as I'm concerned, because you just can't go into the regular season with just two guys. Because right now, because Big O ain't coming back till maybe January. So right now you just have Clint and Nang, and I think Knight's gone. So if Knight was still here, I'd be good. But with Knight gone, I still think you need another person on the roster somewhere because injuries happen, stuff happens.
And you fully believe that we're going to go after another big man, right?
Slim pickings now, because again, no one saw Knight not being here, so there's only a few. I mean, I know there's only a few people left that I would even want on the roster at this point, but most of them have been signed. So. I still think you need to get somebody, even if it's an undrafted free agent or somebody. I think you need another person in that position just for the sake of having that other person. Because really, we really only got two centers. I'm not really trying to have Gallo at center again. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. So
do you think Dang? Dang, you're thinking Clint and Dang are our two centers.
Those are your two centers. Yeah, that's who we have on the roster. That's what you got them for.
That is not going to win you a championship.
Well,
we definitely need to. So we'll talk about this real quick. We kept Trey Young, we kept John Collins, we brought in DeLone Wright, which I really don't know much about. That's just a product of him being out West Coast. Gorgie Dang, 6'11" guy, does everything you need him to do.
He hits jumpers too.
Hits jumpers. Wasn't asked to do much, but I think if asked to do more, he can. Solo Hill, we re-signed him, kind of the spirit animal of the team. We lost Brandon Goodwin. We lost Nathan Knight. We lost Snell, Dunn, Bruno. Those are all easy pieces to lose. We need another piece. We need another center. We need a center that's, but like you said, that
well,
center.
Again, remember, Clint's the starting center. So we're not talking about somebody who's going to come in and get starter minutes. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals with basically Clint and someone with a torn muscle, really, you know what I'm saying? We have John back, right? So what we're talking about is somebody being able to come off the bench and get rebounds, then also block shots as well. And if he's up at the top and he's all by himself and wide open, he can hit 3-pointers as well, which a lot of people love doing that or whatnot. My whole thing about having a third center is just because of injuries. Okay, he's not going to be asked to come in there and like ripping down. I mean, he can play post defense too. Again, that's another thing that we had issues with coming off the bench. We needed somebody else to be in there. So again, I just think we need to be able to have that third person because when Big O comes back, you want to be able to have that extra player because again, injuries happen. We saw what happened last year, and we want to have our depth. All I'm saying is we don't want to go into the season with just Clint and your backup center, and that's all you got.
Okay, so since it's slim pickings for this year. What's your prototype of a center that this team needs, that this roster needs? Is it a big lumbering guy that's a rim protector? Is it a space floor that they can go out?
I just wanted somebody who can't get moved out the middle. I wanted somebody who can get those defensive rebounds and stop the other team from getting a secondary rebound and be able to get a couple of putbacks every now and again. So if you guys a guy who can do that and or also limit people from just getting doggone layups all the time, that's what you need coming off the bench because Clint does what he needs to do as a center starting every game. We saw that. He led the league in rebounds. You know he can block shots. You know he can deflect. He's in there. He's playing post defense. But when he comes off the floor, you don't want to get moved around and everything because, again, when you're coming off the bench now, you got Cam, of course, and Gallo and the rest of the guys coming off the bench. You want to be able to have whoever that center is to be able to be that stalwart since Clint ain't in there no more. Because otherwise you run the risk of what we saw, unfortunately, when Trey got hurt. You see what I'm saying? If we just had that little bit of oomph, I think we would have been okay for a little bit. But not having nobody, is an issue. So with Gorgie in there,
who are all of our front court guys? Let's see. We have Onyeka. He's hurt now, but we got Onyeka. We got Dang. We got Clint. We got JC. We got Gallinari. And that's it, right?
Solo
too short to be in the
Solo wing, right? That's what I'm thinking.
But he played. But remember, with all our injuries, guess what position he played a lot. So
but we need to trade some of our wing assets to get a top flight power forward or center. I don't
agree with that.
Wait.
I don't agree with that because you got Hunter and Cam already back. We're talking about depth. We're talking about your starting lineup. Your starting lineup, ain't nothing wrong with your starting lineup. Your starting lineup is going to go up against anybody in this league. Your bench is pretty much there. Only thing I've been saying, again, look at what Dang has done, not with the last team he was with, because the last team he was with, he didn't really get a lot of minutes. But look what he's done over a period of time. Okay?
I like him.
We're talking about 15, 20 minutes a night, maybe. Okay. All right. And we're talking about mixing up of lineups, and we're talking about just getting until we get Big O back come January, hopefully. Okay. We're not going to be missing a lot going against most of these teams. We're just not. So to say that we're going to all of a sudden now, okay, well, let's give up some of our young talent again to go and get somebody when we were 2 games away from the finals, I think
But as Mike pointed out, we were also a Ben Simmons missed dunk, or not taking a dunk from it, not being such a great run. So
that's on last year's happen,
but you know what?
But it didn't happen though. So
go ahead, Damon.
When you look at we didn't have. What if we had Hunter the whole time, not just the first round, but the second round and the third round? Just Hunter by himself changes all of that. You see what I'm saying? Especially with Philly.
Ready?
You see what I'm saying? But what if we had him and Cam? So I'm telling you, just adding those two guys back puts us on a whole nother level right off the bat.
But here's the thing is, like, do they play center? Okay, Bogey gets in the game. We start the game. Bogey gets in foul trouble. Cam gets in foul trouble. One of these guys gets in foul trouble. We got guys coming right back in. Clint gets in foul trouble. We're in trouble.
How? Why?
Dang is going to come in and play 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Why not? What is he, old or something? Like what's okay? So let's put it like this. One, the center position is very important. Okay. We're not asking him to be the guy, though. We have guys that can do that on the bench. You see what I'm saying? Do his job. Because what? The Lakers aren't asking Dwight Howard to do that coming off the bench. Get your 8-9 rebounds and get your 2 block shots and get back on the bench. Mm-hmm. Every backup center in the league, that's your job, is to do that. Now, with some teams, you need your center to quote unquote be the guy, but not coming off the bench. Your guy is already on the floor, like Joel is. You see what I'm saying? For our team and how our makeup is, you're talking about the second team. Our second team against other teams' second team is going to be better just by default. We got Cam back on the floor. You got Red Mamba on the floor.
Okay, agreed. But we've identified our front court is still a little weak on depth, though, right? I mean,
I don't believe so. I don't believe that. Okay. I don't believe that. Especially before. Okay, it'd be different if we didn't have Gallo. It's like all of a sudden we didn't have Gallo all of a sudden. And we still don't know about Lou. You know, we still don't know Lou's situation. It's still, I'm talking, look, all of a sudden your backup center is scoring 20 points a night. That's not, we don't need that on this team. Your five coming.
We need something specific. Hold on, we need something specific at center, though, right?
Your bench is not supposed to win the game. Your bench is supposed to keep you in the game, okay? Or they need to get you back into a game, but they're not there to win the game. Our bench last year, a whole bunch of times was getting us 30, 40, 50 points a night lots of times, okay? It was our starting lineup that was missing so many pieces at certain points that they weren't getting their 90 to 95 points a night. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Our defense is going to be better, okay? One. Our offense is going to be better because we're going to have a better structure because we're going to have a whole offseason of Nate implementing his offense. The defense, same thing. We're going to have a whole offseason of implementing the defense. I don't think we have holes at the center position.
But what we identified was that we were able to be pushed around in the playoffs, right? We identified that our front court was able to be moved around on defense.
That wasn't the whole.
So I'm not saying let's get a backup. Hold on, I'm not saying let's get a backup center that goes out and scores 20 points and gets us 15 rebounds. I'm saying we need a backup center that's 7 foot tall and 260 pounds, right?
Well, we weren't able to get that.
I
wanted Drummond. I said let's get Dwight or Drummond. Those are my
Drummond at the cost that he was at. Now I'm appalled we didn't get Drummond. Anyways, Damon,
that's what I'm saying. So Damon, for whatever reason, either they went after Drummond and Drummond said no, or we didn't actually ask. I don't know why. Whatever.
Right. I don't think Drummond even consider Atlanta a destination.
He should have though.
But Damon, you I'm glad you came on because you kind of were in the group a lot this week. I listened to many of your lives during the day, but you seem to have this this feeling of John Collins being wanted by a bunch of other teams. Did you get that sense? Did you get that sense that he was desired by a bunch of other teams and they were willing to pay more than what we paid for him?
Well, I got a feeling he was desired by other teams because he's a great young talent. Now, we will never know as far as the money, what was offered, but in my opinion, this was just me. I was just putting 2 and 2 together. My thought process was this: if I offer you 4 years, $90 million, and you say no, and then I come back with you, I come back at the end of the season, 5 years, 125. Obviously, somebody must have wanted him out there. Now they may not want to match the money that the Hawks was putting up, but it's the reason why he didn't sign that deal this same day. It's a reason why Travis upped his offer, because I'm sure if Travis could got away with a 4 year 90, he would have took it. He would have took John signing that. So he had to upped that offer for a reason. Now I'm not saying some other team wanted to give him all this max money, but there was other teams reaching out, and obviously his agent was doing what he get paid to do, and he was looking for the best offer.
This is my thing, and I don't know if Mike would agree with me on this, but if with John Collins on the roster at this number now, we're going to always have to have somebody on our roster that is overplaying his contract. We're always going to need to find that piece, whether it's a veteran that's playing for minimum.
But John been doing that since his rookie year.
It's not, whatever he does is not worth whatever we just paid him. Period. In my eyes, it'll never be. But it doesn't matter. He's on our team. Look I will say this. I'm excited for John Collins because he has a lot of potential to grow on the defensive end. And this year he took that seriously. And if he can take that into the offseason and play with the playoff intensity and practice with the playoff intensity and train with the playoff intensity that he experienced, I think we will get a better John Collins moving forward.
Again. Old boy in Toronto, what's his name? Siakam. First season, 5 points, 4 rebounds. Second season, 6 points, 5 rebounds. And then his third season, he had a good year, and they gave him $136 million. John, rookie season, 10-7. Second season, 19-9. Third season, 21-10. And then 17-7. And now he's getting paid. So again, there is the quality of we're just going to pay you just because. Then there's you did actually do this. So with John, there's a combination of both, I believe, as far as, his potential growing because he's only 23 years old, but he did do what I just said, as compared to a whole bunch of other players who have a whole bunch of millions and they ain't did jack so far in the NBA still, but they're still getting paid because they're a specialist or whatever. Duncan just got $90 million to shoot threes. He can't miss a three as far as I'm concerned. You see what I'm saying? But the Miami Heat said, we're going to give you this money because you're pretty good at it. But what if he ain't? They're set in there with him. You see what I'm saying? Don't let him have a bad season shooting threes because that's basically all he does, right? John does a whole heck of a lot more than that for this team, especially.
But it still go back to my point. Somebody like a Duncan Robinson obviously he can shoot threes, but I'm sure the coaching staff probably telling him to add something to his game.
We'll see.
So he can become a little bit more versatile, or maybe they didn't. But at the end of the day, all your young players, they get paid off potential. That's what they get paid off, because teams think these players would develop into something better and outperform the contract. That's what they do. Only older players, only your veterans get paid off what they've accomplished. Because when you sit and think about it, you be like, why would I give Chris Paul, who's 36 years old, a 4-year deal? He's gonna be 40 years old, getting $40 million because of what he's done in the past. They're not paying Chris Paul off potential because he's too old for potential. You see what I'm saying? And only American sports do that. They pay all the young players off what they hope, especially in football. Look how they do with the quarterbacks.
But you got to understand that the NBA is a league that can be ran different ways. Like, we will never be the LA Lakers, because the LA Lakers can sacrifice pick after pick after pick because they know 4 years down the line they can always have the revenue in place to go after and the market in place to go after any free agent. We will never be in that position where we will be number one or number two options on the best free agents every year after year after year after year after year. We'll never be that team.
I can't agree with that, because
I don't agree with that now.
We'll never be that team. We have to run our team fiscally responsibly.
You go back 10 years, nobody wanted to be on the fucking Warriors. It was no man's land.
And still nobody wants to be on the Warriors.
Excuse me?
People are choosing LA. People are choosing the Clippers. People are choosing New York. People are choosing Chicago over Golden State right now, right?
Golden State are dumping salary. That's what they're doing. They're trying to dump salary. They're not trying to take on more players.
That's fine. We'll see what Golden State is after they lose Stephen Curry.
And you got to remember, they got Curry. You got Klay Thompson coming back. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Is after they lose those players, they're not going to be able to compete with LA. They're going to be right back into the middle of the pack, just like every other team.
But you don't know that, Lou, because it's all about are you developing your young players? Let me tell you something about the Lakers, Lou. Let me tell you something about the Lakers. The Lakers, they don't believe in player development. They're just like, if you look at European soccer, they're like Real Madrid. They're like Manchester United. They don't develop talent. They like the New York Yankees. They let other teams develop talent, then they go get them. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. So a team like the Lakers, they're always in it. You know why? Because they go spend the money. They'll go get free agents.
Yeah, because they really don't have nobody. Like right now, when this team retires, they have no team.
Have y'all looked at the market share of what the NBA teams are? New York and LA dwarf everybody else. I mean,
yeah, you can't compare. You can't compare how they run their team to how everybody else run their team, because they on a whole nother level, man.
Whole nother level.
The New York teams, the LA team, the biggest markets. You can't compare yourself to them. Don't even put yourself in them conversations.
I'm not comparing them, but you gotta see what it is. What's the facts? The facts is this: Lakers spend money. They don't care, because you know why? Their Lakers only have one goal.
Because they got the most money. That's why they got the most money. What the hell wouldn't they?
Actually,
yeah, that's. Why in the fuck wouldn't they spend money? We ain't got that kind of money, so we can't go in with that same strategy.
Exactly.
Hold on, listen. Let me say something. Let me say something, Demar. One thing about it, see, the Lakers can make mistakes that we can't make. We can't afford to make the same mistakes they can make. They can make them same mistakes year in and year out. They got the TV. They got TV money coming in.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna affect them like it affects us. We gotta get that shit right the first time.
I can't do it.
We gotta get that shit right.
Don't you go nowhere, Demar.
Not today, bro. I can't do it. You know why? Because I'm not using common sense. That shit irks my nerves.
How is that not common sense, man?
Nobody want to hear all that whine and shit, man. Ain't nobody want to hear because somebody got an opinion different than yours. Nobody want to hear all that whine and shit, man. It's just what it is. You don't want to hear something different. But we can't go in with the same game plan that a Lakers can or that a New York Knicks can. Can't nobody in the league do that.
You gotta be smart.
If New York got so much money, how come they can't get a big time free agent if they got all this money?
Because they front office is some shit and don't nobody like them.
Exactly.
Nobody like their front office. They don't like their owner. Their owner is a racist piece of shit.
Hold on, the dude literally kicked out Mason or Oakley from the arena. Are you kidding me?
Don't none of they former players even go over there and fuck with them. What you talking about?
So Lou, why are you even mentioning New York? See, you talking about we can't compete
because the market's dwarf.
Some of the biggest markets, dog.
Bro, is Atlanta
some of the biggest markets? Your
So,
market
let's talk
size
about
matters.
Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn not in New York? Is Brooklyn not in New York, everybody? Is Brooklyn not in New York?
What does Brooklyn got to do with it?
They got 3 fucking max players.
You didn't say Brooklyn. What are you talking about? What are you talking
But we're
about?
talking about,
We are not New York. We are not
of,
LA. Period.
Bro,
Period.
listen to me. First of all, Atlanta is a top 10 market. Am I right or wrong?
Man, LA got a damn.
It doesn't matter because of the difference.
They got an economy bigger than
Hold
most
on.
countries.
Hold on,
LA
Eddie.
got
Let me
an
answer
economy
this
bigger
question
than most
directly.
countries.
Hold on, Eddie. Let's answer his question directly.
Is Atlanta a top 10 market? It's yes or fucking no,
Yes.
bro.
Atlanta is perennially a top 10 market. But guess what, Damon? The difference between the top 2 and the rest are so different. No. You just made your point, but here's mine. Listen to it.
Are you gonna let me make my point, or y'all gonna keep cutting me off?
Okay.
You cut me off.
Yes, we are top 10.
Let me make.
You don't want no perspective in what you're saying. You don't want no perspective in what you're saying.
No, we're top 10. We're top 10. Go ahead.
Off. God damn.
No, we're top 10. Go ahead.
Now, with the Knicks, you say the Knicks got all this revenue. What I'm telling you is revenue is not the end all be all, because if it was, the Knicks would have tons of fucking players, right? Correct. Now, I'm not saying Atlanta, the market, can compete with the New York or the LA market. What I'm telling you what they have over us. One, they have a history of winning. So players already know that organization, they don't settle for making the playoffs. It's either championship or bust with the Lakers. Number 2, players know the Lakers will go out and get players that they need in order to win championships, not to make the playoffs, to win championships. So when you see the Lakers go out and sign a LeBron James, hell, LeBron went to the Lakers. So when he go to
Which is my point.
Huh?
Go ahead.
He went to the Lakers, right? So now
y'all hear me?
That the Lakers will spend money. You just saw it this offseason. They just went out here, got Dwight Howard, Kendrick Nunn, who the point got Russell Westbrook.
And what I'm telling you right there is that will never be us. We'll never have a free agency where that is us. Ever.
But bro, when you sit there and think about it, the Lakers really, all they did was get older.
The only reason I disagree with that is that almost saying that we're not going to win a championship with Trae Young.
That's all they did.
I can't agree with that.
Thing is, well, here's the thing though. Here's my only thing. Here's the caveat, Chris, is that even if we do win the championship with Trae Young, then what will happen is for Trae Young's tenure on the Hawks, it'll be a destination. But as soon as he's gone, that lust will be gone as well, because we're still not New York or LA.
I think this is the beginning of where this could get to where we could be.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
That's why I say this. You can never say never. You know, there was a James Bond movie about that.
Well, let's just hope I'm wrong. How about that? Let's just hope I'm wrong and move on.
They wasn't a top destination until they got Duncan and Robinson.
I feel you. And San Antonio. Let's see how it happens in San Antonio too. But like, look, I guess he just went off. But let's move on. I do want to talk about the trade that wasn't. How excited were y'all when you found out that the Hawks traded for Tristan Thompson?
Man, I thought Travis nailed that, man.
I did too.
I thought he was like, damn, this dude know what the fuck. He must watch them playoffs and he knew what we needed and he went and got it.
Thank you.
30 years old, he's still in his prime. He definitely concentrates on defense. He plays post defense. He's gonna try to get every rebound. And he runs the floor too.
This roster, the way it's constructed, with Tristan Thompson over Delone Wright, would be a better team.
I think so. We could have skirted, but
it makes me wonder, like, why he didn't try to keep Thompson? Right. Or maybe the trade was really for Thompson to go to Sacramento from jump.
Yeah, maybe they asked Atlanta to jump in, and Atlanta was like, "Well, shit, we can lose Dunn and Bruno."
But I even saw something though that where he might get bought out by Sacramento and still be available too.
If he does, we got to go.
If he's
if that happens, I'm like, someone needs to make the phone call because
if he's smart, he will ask for a buyout because Sacramento, that's where you go.
Maybe that's why we didn't keep Knight, possibly. Even I don't know. I mean, because again, the Knight thing kind of came out of nowhere. So,
do we have any roster spots available?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Let's talk about Nathan Knight a little bit because he was a fan favorite. Obviously, I feel bad losing him, but I really do think now that the Double O's hurt, I'm surprised that we did not pursue him as much.
That's the only reason I say that, really, because of that.
But you know, like. I want him to be able to find the place, and I hope he did this. I hope he found the best place that he would have the best path for playing time in the NBA. Because I do think that he is a really good basketball player that's going to make somebody a really good teammate.
He'll get minutes in Minnesota for sure.
That dude, he gonna be all right, man. But you know what? Now I'm wondering. It made me wonder why did Travis extend the qualifying offer to Skylar and not to Nathan Knight, because it seemed like our need would have been more for the big. Because what's Nathan Knight, 6'10" or is he 6'9"?
Is this a bigger concern about DeAndre Hunter's knee and Cameron Reddish's health, where he didn't want to lose a wing player?
But Skylar not a wing; he a guard.
He's a guard. That's the only thing about that.
And he not
then
even.
You can move Kevin Huerter to wing and play him at guard.
I mean, I would have figured if I had the choice, I would have extended a qualifying offer to Nathan Knight if I had to choose between him or Scott.
Oh, no doubt.
And he went out, and he went out and got his name DeLone, right? Is it DeLone?
Yeah. DeLone, I think. Yeah.
He got DeLone, so we got Trey and DeLone, and then drafted Sharif. So I don't need. Where is this dude Skylar gonna play anyway besides the G League?
Well, the thing is that,
is Skylar better than Sharif?
Hurt, you still have somebody. So,
hey, do y'all think Skylar is better than Sharif?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to say yeah, because I mean, we actually seen him play in the NBA. I mean,
Eddie, you think Skylar is better than Sharif? Jesus Christ! All right,
fucking road, bro.
I don't know. Skylar, we know can shoot, but he can't handle the ball. But Sharif comes in and handle like he's the point guard. Like he's a legit point guard who can run a team. And he got 8 assists in college, which it's not easy to do to get 8 assists a night in college. So
no,
I don't know. That's a good question.
I like Skylar because he seems sturdy with the ball. Like it's hard to take the ball from him.
He doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, he's not the fastest, but he's not going to turn the ball over.
He does turn the ball over a lot, though, too.
And I don't think we need that. So I think he's going to go down to the G League and hopefully play really high-level basketball for a long time and get really good.
I believe that Sharif will be our backup point guard by end of the season.
I don't.
I think
not with us having DeLon, I doubt that. But
Skylar is just a placeholder, to be honest. Because, I mean, he didn't really show no real flashes when he played. Hell, I mean, Nate didn't even really – let me say it like this. Nate didn't really give him no real minutes, so you could actually see it. He didn't even get no real minutes under LP neither. So, I mean, you really couldn't see what he did. That's why I hated we didn't have a G League team this year. Because I would love to see Nathan Knight in there.
Every time Knight got in the game, though, he did produce. And he had some games where he did produce a lot because he got the 20 minutes plus or whatnot.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
the thing that I was telling Damond is my thing about Knight for our roster is that Knight is probably better than what his role is allocated. And so sometimes I see him breaking plays. He breaks more plays as a big man than I saw any other player and or rookie play while they were playing. There's a lot of plays where he just takes it to the hole, and sometimes he gets it, sometimes he gets a foul. A lot of times he makes a play happen, but sometimes he turns the ball over. And I think that when you're coaching basketball, I think it's so regimented, and we don't understand. They make it look so easy, but everything has a decision to be made, and you have to follow, or else the coach is not going to trust you enough. And I just think Nathan Knight fell into that role where he was out there trying to prove himself, and the Hawks are just not in that place.
I mean, when you only getting what? When you playing every other game, maybe getting 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I mean, I could see why he's like, you know what, I got to go show these dudes that I can do my thing. But
I agree.
Also agree with your point when you said the coach gonna tell you what to do, and if you don't do what the coach wants you to do, he can be like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna need you to come sit on the bench, bro.
Right.
And so, because it got to be a reason why this dude didn't get more minutes.
I think it's more to do with that than it is. I mean, because he's got skills. I mean,
man,
some of his dunks are. I mean, he was twisting and turning. But I think he has a chance to earn a $10 million a year contract eventually, kind of like a Paul Millsap did, and then from that point, he can turn himself into a star.
I would have loved to see him go somewhere like OKC, where they playing all them young dudes at, where he gonna get some real.
Dude, I haven't even looked. Did they got like 20 players?
That's he could put up. Because, you know, in Minnesota, he probably going to be used the same way he would use here because it ain't enough balls to go over. You got D-Lo, you got Cat, you got Ant-Man. They all getting touches.
But I didn't want to get too far off of this was the Tristan Thompson thing because I did want to move into the next part. But was the Tristan Thompson thing, there was also a little bit of an excitement that came with the circus that he brings because isn't he dating one of the Kardashians?
Nah, I didn't want to know that part.
Yeah, that was part of it though, right? You were like, oh man, he's really good, but he also brings this circus.
Bro, he got a baby by one. He got caught kissing her best friend, the black girl. Then they left the black Christian. Hey, this dude stayed with her. I give him that, bro. That you know what? Now that I think about it, he don't need to be in Atlanta. He don't need to be this dude stayed, bro. He stayed with women, dog. He stayed with bad women too.
Just for the fact we got Magic City, it was gonna be just a combo, man. It was just.
Hey, he needs to be a Sacramento, man. He needs to be
away from at least a plane ride away from everything.
Yeah, be out there, but he probably don't want to be out there. That put him closer to Chloe, and then her name.
That's true. That.
I wanted him to come to Atlanta. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, hold on. Let's give Eddie the floor real quick because he's been in and out, man. We don't know when he's going to come back in. But Eddie, tell us your recap on the week that was for the Hawks, man. We drafted some players. We got Tristan Thompson. We traded him away. We signed John Collins. What do you think was going on?
It was a busy ass week. It was probably one of the busiest weeks ever been, ever experienced as a Hawk fan. But it was a good week. You know what I'm saying? It was a good week. It was strategic. I like what Travis doing with the team. I like the line right. The line right gonna be a good player for us, man. Because a lot of the shit that we need, he allows us to do it. You know what I'm saying? He can go to point guard. He can go to shooting guard. You know, and be efficient at playing both positions. And I mean, I feel like we just stabilized the franchise. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna get us better over time, more than going out acquiring new players, is us developing the players that we got. You know what I'm saying? We just need John and Trey to take the next step in their development. You know what I'm saying? As long as they do that and keep doing that consistently, man, we're gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? But
well, speaking of that, I mean, Travis did his thing. He re-signed this offseason the heartbeat of the Hawks. He re-signed for 5 years and $207 million extension Trae Young, and he signed John Collins for 5 years, $125. They're going to be here for 5 years. Did we do enough with that roster? You know, are we still a piece or two away?
I don't think he done. I don't think we're
done
That's
either.
The thing, Lou. I think we got something up our sleeve. I think they took Cam off the summer league team because they're getting ready to deal him for something.
Yeah,
they're trying to make a big move.
I hope not, but I can see that.
To this team.
I can see that.
I got a feeling they are. I can feel they are, man.
Hey, let me say something real quick, Lou. Hey, no joke. My son got a basketball coach, right? He came over today. How about this dude? We was talking ball, and he said, man, I'm a big fan of Cam Reddish. Bruh. He not even a Hawks fan. And he was like, I'm a big fan of Cam Reddish. Bruh, something's telling me this dude is going to be good, man. I don't want to get rid of this guy, bro.
No, me either.
I hope it don't happen. I mean, we were supposed to have him on the show, and his people was like, well, Chris, can we push this closer to the beginning of the season? And I was like,
they want to make sure he does. They still want to make sure he
and I was like, I had to control myself because I almost wanted to do my thing. And like, I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so right before training camp starts, I'll hit you back and we'll set it up.
Read between the lines, Chris. Read between the lines. What did you hear when you see that? Read between the lines, dog.
I was just trying not to tone my Because I've been working on that interview for a minute.
Entertain the thought.
We'll see.
What y'all think? Y'all think DeMar? You think he gonna be here at the beginning of the season?
It ain't that many.
He's got to be, man. He's my guy.
It ain't that many.
I like him, man. I love Cam. He got all the fucking ability. He got the prototypical basketball. If you go in the game and make a fucking player, it'll be Cam Reddish. You know what I'm saying? He'd be the same height with the same ability.
He averaged double figures his first 2 seasons in the NBA. Not a lot of people have done that.
And he didn't have good coaching.
He should be able to do that shit in his sleep, though, Chris.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? With his ability, he should be able to do that shit with his sleep. We want to see this. We didn't got exhausted with he finna be, he gonna get there. We tired of that shit now. We at the point where we like, man, all right, come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? How many years we gonna say the same shit and ain't nothing twerking? But see, whenever he came back for that playoff game and did what he did, that shit just.
I'm still mad that he had the DMP in Game 3 because I feel that. I'm just going again. That should not have happened. I don't know why. I don't know what the thinking of that was, but if I believe he had played that particular game, we're having a completely different discussion right now.
I agree.
So I mean, we'll never know, of course. But
the thing is, like, he may forever be an enigma, though. He may be one of those guys that just coast through the regular season, but then gets on a playoff team and just goes berserk. I mean, he is insanely talented. I just don't think a lot of things have captivated his interest. But I think whatever the Hawks did this season has captivated his interest. I think if we can somehow manifest that into what just an inkling of what his full potential is. I think
having Nate around this whole offseason this time around, because remember because Cam hasn't had an offseason yet, really, right? So this is going to be an opportunity for the whole franchise to really get this real nice reboot. 2 games away from the finals just now with a hurt team, basically.
Well, that leads us into this.
Hold on, let me say one more thing about that Cam thing.
Sure.
And it shit might sound hot taking when I say it, but I'm gonna fucking say it. That shit that Cam did in that playoff game impressed me more than what John Collins has done up to this point. Because Cam went from not playing the whole fucking season damn near to coming in the biggest game of his career. And in the biggest game of our motherfucking time in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? For real, and ball the fuck out. It's like he just fed to the crowd. He fed in that shit. He loved that moment. We need players that live up to that moment when they get to that moment, dog. Because with Trey, we're gonna be in that moment a lot with him. We need players that can get in that moment, man, and flourish in that moment. And Cam, it was like he belonged in that moment. You know what I'm saying? For that game. And if we can get another player, like I think DeAndre, he don't give a fuck. He wins championship. That's what the fuck he do. You know what I'm saying? So he already that type of player. But
he should have. He'd have missed the whole damn season.
Hey, that don't mean shit. He shouldn't have. Look, you ain't even in basketball shape. You ain't even, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even in your head at the spot you need to be at physically to play basketball. But he balled. When he gave given the opportunity, he balled the fuck out.
I don't think we should trade Cam Reddish because you got to get this guy a full off season, a full healthy season. Because remember, if you go back and look, when Steph Curry, his first 4 years, when he had them ankle injuries, they was trying to move him too. Luckily, they didn't move him. They let that ankle didn't outlook what happened. So hopefully with Cam, he get a full off season. We got rid of Lloyd Pierce, who Cam Reddish said basically was toxic. So
he was bullying me.
The thing is, like, Cam is a young
motherfucker.
I will say that Cam is definitely that's an immaturity on him. He needs a lot of prepping. He's not the guy he's not the guy that's going to be a self-starter. He's not the guy that's going to be like, take his shit to the next level. But he's going to be like a Scottie Pippen. So if he has somebody that's like a Michael Jordan, which Trae Young supposedly is in practice, it may get him to that potential. It may let him scratch the surface of what he's capable of. And I just don't think we should trade Cam Reddish.
He needs somebody to remind him that he's a good ass player.
Yeah, exactly.
Jalen Johnson finna remind him, you better get your ass in gear because I'm coming for your spot. Jalen Johnson finna remind him, you better get your ass in gear because I'm coming for that spot. Well, that's what he need to think about. Jalen Johnson a fucking beast.
Cam need more of a positive more positive reinforcement type coach, which Nate McMillan is compared to.
And there's nothing wrong with having that, by the way.
He's a guy that's built for that tough love. And, you know, I wish.
That weak shit out of here, man.
So guys, we're moving on to the next thing, which is it kind of leads in from our roster upgrades and everything that we've done. Have we put ourselves in a position, and what's the new power ranking? So this is kind of like the tier of the East right here, and I just want to kind of just rank them up 1 through 14 real quick. What are y'all thinking? Who's a for sure? Is Philly or Brooklyn the for sure?
We second in the East. We second in the East behind Milwaukee. They're the only motherfuckers that beat us. And I'm gonna tell you something. With our style, I don't even see Brooklyn with our style and the depth that we got. Fuck Brooklyn. We beat their ass.
Because they can play defense. I
they don't play no defense.
Hold on. So what's the consensus here? So what's the consensus?
Brooklyn.
To me, we second in the East.
Brooklyn number 1.
No, he's saying Milwaukee.
Milwaukee number 1. The champs number 1. You gotta give them their respect. We number 2. We hit that Philly shit in the mouth. We hit the New York shit in the mouth. Brooklyn can't beat us with their style. With that ISO ball shit, they won't fuck with us. Period.
Man, listen.
And ain't nobody else. Now, Miami coming back.
Hey, say something. If if Harden and Kyrie don't get hurt, Brooklyn beat the Bucks in 5. Everybody know that. They blew
okay, we want to give the Bucks the champ. We'll give them that.
Yeah, since they but
we got to give them number 2. We got to give the Brooklyn Nets the number 2. Yeah. They still have KD on the damn team.
And fucking Harden and Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie is going to be on PTO again all year. I ain't certain.
That's going to be back for the playoffs.
So
that's all that really matters.
So we got 1 and 2 for sure. And y'all are willing to say that
y'all don't respect us. Y'all don't respect us enough.
So what about
y'all see what the fuck we did in the playoffs, man?
What about Philly as the number 3 team?
I don't see it.
They ain't do shit. They ain't really do nothing to improve themselves.
They didn't do nothing.
And they're still trying to get rid of Ben. They still want four players for Ben.
Philly ain't done nothing this offseason.
Well, I feel comfortable putting.
They want 4 draft picks and 4 players for that motherfucker.
Well, then I feel comfortable putting. I feel comfortable putting the Hawks at 3 then, and then maybe making Philly the number 4 team. Now it gets interesting because the Bulls made some moves, and the Hornets are really good.
I
don't know. I think the Heat might be above Philly.
Get the Heat, bro.
I do too.
Be told with what they've done, I think they're above Philly right now.
So you would do this?
And they got Kyle Lowry. Miami just got Kyle Lowry, and they brought back Oladipo. Shit, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard to deal with that now.
Dude, the East is getting good. All right, so then we got so now we got the Bulls maybe next, or did they have to prove it? Are they still in a prove it mode?
I got the Celtics.
With the Rosen and that motherfucker.
Kimba's with the Knicks now. Like I would probably maybe even because we know we could beat the Knicks.
The Celtics look like they're being ran on a roller coaster. Are you kidding me? Like I don't know.
I don't trust nothing with the Celtics right now.
Yeah, I'm not putting the Celtics number 6.
Still got Tatum. They still got Brown. What is Smart dude? Is he?
What's Tatum's plus minus over in USA right now? Does anybody know?
I know, but that motherfucker be balling his ass off.
Not at USA. He's the reason why they lose.
Not over there. He hasn't been.
He's the reason why they lose. He plays losing basketball right now.
I don't know if you want to say the Bulls have to prove it, but talent-wise, unless they still have Laurie, don't they? They hadn't traded him yet, have they?
Who, Laurie?
He ain't signed with nobody yet. He ain't signed with nobody yet.
So I think the Bulls. I think it has to be the Bulls.
I agree with you, Manny.
If you put the 76ers 5th, you gotta put the Bulls 6th for sure. I still think the Bulls might be better than the 76ers right now, though, too.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
All right, so
Bulls. I don't know. Well, you know what though?
They ain't better than
the Knicks starting lineup right
with
now.
A healthy Embiid, they ain't better with a healthy Embiid. They ain't better than them.
So then
the Knicks. That's a tough one.
So who's gonna take this 6th spot then?
I don't know, but you can go ahead and put you gonna put
Boston. Put Boston in there.
Put the Cavs.
No, I think you gotta put the Knicks either 5th or 6th, really, because let's be real about it.
And then put
the Knicks. The Knicks played well last year, and they
get some shooters first.
And they
got
got
shooters first. They ain't got no shooters. They ain't legit.
That's what Kemba's for. That's what Kemba is for.
So you're saying this. So far,
keep him healthy.
I know, but
dude, this is going to be every big team in the East. Or every big market besides Milwaukee. You got New York twice. You got Atlanta. You got Miami. You got Chicago's back in it, and it looks like Boston may be making it. What do y'all think, Boston?
Boston's just. What's their starting lineup? I'd have to see their starting lineup.
I think. I honestly think Charlotte. I think Charlotte's a better team than Boston.
Who?
Can we put Charlotte here?
No, shit, no. They ain't got no stars like that for real.
They got LaMelo Ball.
Besides LaMelo,
that's not enough.
You
They got the kid. They got Gordon Hayward. Remember, he was hurt all last year.
He's gonna be hurt all this year too.
What kind of injury? What do he have? Achilles or something?
No, that was a while ago, right?
Like it wasn't.
See, I agree, man. Hornets might take the 6th spot. I don't know who Facebook user is, but I agree.
You know, they lost Graham. They lost Graham now.
Yeah, Graham's bad fit for their team.
Graham.
I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. That's iffy right there.
Hey, he the motherfucker that be doing all that ducking.
That's not the same person.
What's the 7 and 8? Oh, it's 9 and 10, ain't it? For playing?
Yeah.
9 and 10.
Hey, can I say this? I do think that if we would have played the Nets, I think we would have beat them. I know that they got hurt.
Oh yeah, we would have beaten them.
Even with
that's what I wanted us to play.
The Nets was hurt, bro.
Styles makes fights.
Still had KD.
The thing is, like, there was a game where they were not all hurt, where like Kyrie just got hurt, and they didn't know the extent of it, and Harden was coming back. But I think even with them all there, I think we still had a good team.
We would have needed Cam and DeAndre to beat them.
When they played the first 2 games against the Bucks, full strength, they blew them out in Milwaukee. Blew their ass out. Milwaukee couldn't even do shit until they beat them in Milwaukee, didn't they? Yeah, they beat them in Milwaukee.
Yeah, but that was more of a Milwaukee thing because Bud is just such a weird coach. Because that same thing happened in Phoenix, and Bucks came back for that team. But let's give the Bucks their props, man. Like, fuck that shit. Like, the Bucks won that shit.
Hell no. How you gonna get them? How you gonna say they get them their props, and then we turn around and say we would if we would have did this?
I think we would have beat them. I think we have a team that's constructed to beat them.
Give them the props against the Nets, but not giving their props against them.
Hold on, I'm not understanding. Let me see if I can follow you here. I'm gonna indulge you on this one. Go ahead.
You said, I said the Nets would have beat the Bucks. You said let's give the Bucks their credit for beating the Nets, and
winning the championship.
I said for beating the Nets, but when it comes to us, you don't give them no credit for beating us. You say we would have beat them, but you don't give them no credit for beating us.
I don't get who am I not giving credit for beating us?
The Bucks.
Why am I not giving them credit? They beat us.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm telling you, the Bucks beat us. I'm upset that we didn't pay Cam Reddish and put him on Chris Middleton because I think that would have soured that night and we could have escaped with that win. I think we could have played that better, but they beat us. I mean, they physically beat us. I mean,
I got a question for all y'all. Do you think what's the dude name? DeLon? I always forget this dude name. DeLon? The point guard we just got, that's his name?
DeLon Wright.
Yeah. So do you think if we had DeLon Wright on our team last year when Trey goes down, do you think we beat the Bucks those last 2 games?
Interesting.
Because I believe we would have a shot because DeLon can do everything that a point guard you want to do. He doesn't turn the ball over. He can shoot the ball and he can pass. So we would have had a shot to do it. Yeah. Especially with Cam coming back, we would have had a shot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think so. I mean, our backup point guard played was pretty bad.
What happened to what's his name again? Brandon Goodwin. He was sick or something. Why he went playoff roster?
He had some kind of it was a breathing thing. I can't remember. It was respiratory something or another.
Oh, okay. Damn, we could have used his ass.
Yeah, for real. All right, well, let's get back to it. What do y'all think about the Raptors? Have they fallen into obscurity, or did they make enough moves, and do they have enough players?
They're obscure. Just for the fact that they lost Kyle. I mean,
All right, so we'll move
all they really have is Siakam now, and Fred. That's not enough.
Okay, we'll move these guys down. What about the Pacers? Are they still in the mix? Are they better than Boston?
No.
They got a couple pieces.
Just because Boston has Brown and Tatum, they're still going to be above at least those couple of teams right there, just because they're on the same team still. So
then you would say these guys are going to be fighting for the playoffs. So what about out of these two teams? Who's going to be the odd man out?
Out of which two teams, Lou?
Indiana and Washington. Or no, is Washington even in the conversation?
No,
they're losing. They lost Westbrook already, but they got a haul for Westbrook.
So what they got in return could make them competitive a little bit, to where they just don't drop off the face of the earth, but still, that's basically based off of Bradley Beal, I guess. Again, but
yeah, I think if Beal stays, they're going to be better than what they were this year.
I don't know, but it looked like being below 500 not going to get you in the playoff. It'll get you in a game, but
yeah, this is going to be a competitive year.
Yeah,
this year.
It's them days of
the Pacers are going to be below those other teams, I believe, at this point. They just don't have anybody there.
Well, they have players though. They have Malcolm. They have players.
They got TJ Warren. They got Sabonis. They got
they got players. They could be in the conversation.
But they were speaking on they didn't get along with that head coach, man. That's why his ass got fired after one.
Oh yeah, they do have a new coach coming too, so that's another thing.
Yeah, they got rid of that old coach. They said he messed up the locker room, and the team just fell apart. That's from the player's mouth.
Who said that? Or about who? About who?
About the coach for Indiana, who they just fired. Toronto, that assistant.
Yeah. That's what I heard too.
And then
you could see it. Remember on the court where I think it might have been against us, or maybe the game before us, the tall European kid who looks kind of like a tall Korkmaz or whatever, but he shot a long range three, and the coach was like, "Get back and play some defense or something," and he started yelling at the coach right on the court while they were playing. It was insane. It was absurd.
Hey, did you say
they lost control?
Up to Nate McMillan after we played him.
Yeah, they were all around him like he was powwow. It was like a powwow.
Hey, it looked like they just ran into their daddy. They were like, please.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to see, man. That's why it's magical. Like having I felt really good when we had Coach Budenholzer, and I feel really good having Nate McMillan. I never felt good with Lloyd Pierce. No matter who you threw on the team, the reason why I started this whole chat is when we got everybody, I was like, all right, now what are we going to do with LP? It's like, how long before he's gone? Because he can't do shit with this team. He's a bad coach. And so it's like having a good coach just lets you know you're at least gonna have competitive, and there's gonna be a chance for you to have a good locker room to make something else happen. Because it takes a magical locker room to win championships. It does.
Yeah,
it just does.
You know what Trey and them said? They said it's good when you have a head coach that believes in you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man. Because guess what? When you switch coaches, the message never changes, and everything the coach tell you, it ain't nothing them players haven't heard before. But it's something. It's not the message that changed; it's the messenger. You see what I'm saying? So with LP, and that's what I was saying about LP. I wish LP would have been able to see, hey, this style not working for some of the players. I need to switch up our leadership style a little bit, and maybe maybe we win more games, and maybe he's still here, but. You could see the night and day difference between when Nate McMillan steps in, then Lloyd Pierce leaves. You see the night and day difference in the players' attitude. They all excited, dancing and high-fiving in each other. And you didn't hear one negative thing about the locker room since Nate McMillan been in charge.
Belief goes a long way. Real quick, Vucevic is still with the Bulls, I should say. So that's the other reason I was saying that the Bulls have to be higher than the Knicks right now, because the Knicks have Mitchell Robinson, I guess, who's going to start, and they got Kemba, which we don't know who's going to stay.
But as somebody pointed out, they have no front court depth. I mean, you got Vucevic and Patrick Williams, and then you
might not need it with DeRozan and Levine being on the same team now. I don't know.
I will say DeRozan has taken on more as he's gotten older. He's taken on more of a role as a power forward. He's more of a post player.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have the size of a power forward, but I mean, he does play the post. But he ain't no power forward though. But I mean, I think the Bulls could actually hold their own. I guess. I just question the 76ers right now. Just not just because we beat them and everything, but their offseason has been terrible. And if they lose Ben, because Ben is well, we can say whatever we can say, but they might not get nothing for him in the first place. But I just don't know where that team goes right now. But we'll have to see.
Okay, well, we got 2 more teams, and then we can look at what we've accomplished here. What do y'all think? Toronto Magic. Magic's made some good moves, or no?
The Magic has made a few to where I think they've improved on what they had last year because how they sold the farm last year. We all know that they gave all their free agents away and everything. But I think they started retooling a little bit. Will it all translate out in one season? That's gonna be a lot to say. Are they above the Cavs? Cavs still have Sexton? I don't think they moved him.
Nope, they haven't moved Sexton yet.
They signed Allen. I don't know. I might say the Cavs are higher than Orlando right now.
Is Orlando really that bad? I mean, yeah, I guess they are, huh? What are they doing with Mo Bamba? Did they want to get rid of Mo Bamba?
I don't know if he's going to ever get. I don't know. I don't think he's ever going to get a shot because if he don't get a shot now, he's never going to get a shot and he'll be out the league basically at this point because he's never getting any minutes, no matter who's on the team or not on the team. And then you would think after what they did last year with the team, he would have gotten more minutes and he still didn't.
Right.
So it could just be he just ain't that good, or something else. I don't know, but he's a question mark right now. Because isn't this his 4th season now? I think
so.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's put the Cavs because they just picked up a couple of players, right? That are pretty good, young guys, right? Oh, Mobley, they got my guy Mobley. Yeah. I think Mobley's going to be a stud. I did want to talk to Damon. I just kind of came back to the screen and saw that he was gone already, but we were going to get down to the Cavs, and I did want to talk to him a little about Mobley, but yeah. So this is the power ranking. I think this is a solid power ranking.
I think this is as good as far as what, because again, we still don't know. There might be some sneak attacks somewhere, right. But as far as all the moves that have been made up till now, I think this is pretty solid so far.
Yeah, and I think the teams that I would be interested in seeing all 10 of the top 10 teams. Washington, like I said, Kuzma has a chance to if he goes back to his old role of being a good young guy. I mean, he can give you 17 and 7. So I think Washington made out like a.
You think the thing with Kuzma, I think is going to be is he's in Washington and not LA, and will he be able to get over that? Because it's a business and everything, but it's like of all places. Washington is not like the best place, best place in the world to go, as far as a player standpoint, they don't have no legacy.
Come back, man. I'm trying to get everybody in. Everybody ain't in right now.
No problem.
Keep doing that.
No, that's all right. So this is what we got going on. We got the Miami Heat. We felt that they've jumped into the upper echelon. To be fair, the Hawks, I think, was preseason. I think we could be 3, but we didn't do enough moves to guarantee 3. You know what I mean?
Again, it's addition by help.
Right?
Just because we're getting Hunter and Cam back, I think puts us in that category because of how good Hunter is. Not even what Cam is, but just Hunter by himself. So your starting lineup of Trey, Bogey, Hunter, Collins, and Clint. Clint led the league in NBA. You know what I'm saying? You know what Trey did and everything. Bogey not being hurt, hopefully. I mean, I believe we're at least 3. You know what I'm saying? So I just think just because Hunter is going to be back, then you throw Cam up in there. You know what I'm saying? I think we're more solid than a lot of people going to believe. Again, we knew we weren't the 5th seed. Right? In the 72-game schedule, we won 41 games. You know what I'm saying? And we won the division. You know what I'm saying? Hurt most of that time still. Right? So I think we're 3. No matter one way or the other, I think we're 3.
Does anybody want to take my man's up here? It says, I'll bet anyone on this podcast that Atlanta does not finish the regular season 3rd or above.
He's a Lakers fan. I'm not taking no bets with him.
We don't finish what?
That the Hawks won't finish 3rd in the East.
3rd or above.
Oh, shit. Finish first.
I feel like that's a demand thing to do, to be like, okay, well, bet your money that the Hawks will win it, finish third. I'm at the point where like we didn't do enough in the offseason to guarantee we're the third best team in the East right now. But I think if we play and our health is right and what we have seen and nothing's changed in that hunger, and they've gotten even maybe more acute into practicing and training.
Listen, Lou, take this into consideration, Lou. We're getting the DeAndre and Cam back. That's almost like getting two big free agents. They ain't played the whole damn year for real. You know what I'm saying?
That's what people like Jay and other outside fans of their team
we were ankle injury away from being in the finals because see, at the same time he's saying that we didn't do enough or whatever to secure the third. But everybody knows if Trey hadn't have got hurt, we would have beat Milwaukee. Everybody knows it. It's like everybody can say with a straight face, if Trey Young had not gotten hurt, we beat Milwaukee and we're at least in the finals. Playing Phoenix, probably beating them, but we definitely would have done that. But Trey got hurt. So we getting all these guys back healthy that was hurt, plus a whole off season with Nate, both offensive and defense. Can
I ask the thing about Trey Young's injury? He had the really big game in game one. And after that, though, it almost seemed like he was kind of getting into almost a hero ball type of rhythm where he wasn't doing the things that got the team there. He wasn't facilitating. He wasn't doing all the extra special carrying the team parts. It was more of the trying to get that long range three and the shimmy and the this and the that. And when he got hurt, I almost felt like it was a good opportunity for him to sit and watch. And I almost felt that either we play Cam Reddish that one game or we don't bring Trey Young back. I think either of those two things, I think the team would have beaten Milwaukee or had a better chance to beat Milwaukee. Just because I think that Trey Young had started to become almost into his own image of what was being created on himself. It almost seemed, but he has all the skills to continue to be aggressive and continue to be productive. It's just he can't take an ankle injury at all. But I just think that ankle injury was fortuitous for him to step back and watch and kind of take a back as to some of the things that he can do better.
When that shit happened, when that injury happened, you looking at the game, it really just showed that we really got a big ass void when it comes to defense and having a big body to be able to battle and bang against other big men in the league. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It just dominated. You know what I'm saying? Lopez just dominated the fuck out of them boys down there. The same way Embiid did. You know what I'm saying? Now, during the regular season, Clint Capella looked like a man amongst boys. But when we got against the best teams in the game on our side of the conference, we looked like we had some elementary boys in there. You know what I'm saying? They got dominated. That's really one of the reasons why I was hesitant on playing John Collins, because I'm thinking, what the fuck is gonna change about that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If we pay you, you knew you needed to gain weight. That's why you was taking that dope.
Well, you know what? Maybe he will find a way to take some dope that's healthier and less trackable.
But I mean, he might see one thing about life. The older you get, you know what I'm saying. You get that man weight on you. You know what I'm saying. He's still 23, still really a kid. You know what I'm saying. So he's still really in this from a boy to a man body. So as time go on, maybe he'll get a little heavier. You know what I'm saying? And his base will be a little stronger. But right now,
as we're kind of wrapping it up, I do want to touch on the subject, because you and I kind of had this idea, and I think Chris can at least speak for Damon's side. The idea that Atlanta is a different market. Did we ever come to a conclusion on that? Because I thought that was
because I never really said anything because y'all were too loud. So on the literal basis of the markets, I'll do my air quotes again like I like to. Atlanta is one of the top markets. However, the evolution of what the 5 things that makes a franchise successful, in the past, we have not had the ownership, and we definitely didn't have the management making wise decisions over a period of time. We have both of that now. Now, as far as the money goes, as winning goes, and all of a sudden we're in championship series a whole bunch, guess what? Our market share is going to go up too on the team. The value of the team is going to go up too. So again, that first finals that the Atlanta Hawks make, okay, just based off of that right there, that whole downtown area is going to become different as well. Okay, Wrestler has this team going in the right direction. He completely took apart a whole team, put a team back together, and had us 2 games away from the NBA Finals. So the money, I believe, part of it, we'll be able to pay people. That's not going to be the issue anymore as much as it was ownership and decision making. We got people here that players would want to play for. Remember, we also have the good to great coach. Remember the 5 things, good to great coach? We got that too now. So we're going to be an attractive destination, not just because we have Trae Young, not just because now it looks like, guess what? We're going to keep these pieces together and have our own run. Because that's what all the other successful teams have done over the past. They got their guys and they said, we're going to keep them together long enough to see what they can do. And we did it for Al in the game. We did it for Al and Jeff and all of them. We did it for Josh. We gave Marvin Williams, how many contracts did he get? 2. They got their money, and we played them out as long as we could, and they proved that they couldn't do it. Let us get these guys their chance to prove what they can do, and this is just their real first season together doing it, and they were hurt most of the year, of course. But let them have that 3-4 year, 5-year period and see what they can do. Meanwhile, guess what? Yeah, remember the draft and Zion touched the podium? We all remember that. Guess what? Zion probably is thinking about the Atlanta Hawks when it's time for his contract to be up and be like, no, you know what? I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? And other players out there, remember, we have a whole new youth movement in regards to NBA veterans now. All the old guard are about to retire and everything. So
I don't disagree with that, Chris.
That could come to Atlanta,
Chris, but I don't disagree with that. But there will never be a point where we have a front office that can change the strategy of being very, very good at scouting, very good at developing, and
what
very,
are we doing
very,
now? Travis
and very
Slimm is doing
prodigious.
that.
Hold on, and very prodigious at the free agency market. We will never be a team like LA or New York where they can just build their roster through just paying the most money. Like we don't.
Well, see, but again, the other part of that is, does that always work? Okay, we've seen teams do that, and that formula doesn't necessarily work. It's cool to spend money, but you know. But again, here's the deal. Let's see what happens next year, because next year is going to be that real first year as far as on the free agent side, the big time free agents that are going to be out there that could be available, and we'll find out what happens next year. But again, why even do that if the Hawks end up winning the championship in 2021 season? Why would you even want to really do that at that point? Because you won't need to, because we just won the championship with our guys who are becoming superstars.
Right.
And I think that's the premise as far as that goes, is what is a star or not. You got to do stuff on a regular basis over years. We know Trae is there. Let's see who else we got, who we already have signed on contract right now.
Well, I agree with that. And the last topic for today is, what do y'all think of Cam getting the boot and Big Tigger stepping in?
Oh,
what do you think? You got anything? Ryan Cameron.
It's almost like I saw it coming, because Ryan Cameron been around here, man, for forever. You know what I'm saying? He's been ever since I was a young boy with a little record deal in Atlanta. Yeah, he's been around there for forever, man. And it's almost like you're gonna have to pass the torch eventually. You know what I'm saying? I know he probably wasn't ready, but one thing about Ryan Cameron in Atlanta, he almost like the president of this bitch, man.
He's classy, buddy.
He ain't want for no damn work. If he want to do something, he gonna have some shit to do. So you know what I'm saying? I don't know what was behind it. He might have asked for more money. He might have wanted to step away and do something different. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I can't see them taking that job from Ryan Cameron being like, we want to go in a different direction than you, because he's Atlanta royalty. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Or we found somebody better. Or we found somebody better, or someone that can do it better.
You ain't gonna find nobody better than that.
Exactly.
That ain't even possible in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, it's almost like saying, we're gonna have a director about music in Atlanta, but Jermaine Dupri, we really don't want to do it. We don't want you to be that guy. We want it to be Lil Baby. You know what I'm saying? No, they don't. That kind of shit ain't gonna happen.
Like if they brought in Andre 3000, who we ain't heard from in forever, that'd be kind of cool, right? But I mean, you know,
they ain't gonna let Andre do it because they know Andre can skip out on the job on your ass in a minute. They ain't gonna get the position. Andre can go you on airport for 3 years. He has no call, no show wait to happen.
It'll be interesting, but I know this. I would say this. I'd say most of the fans would have probably preferred the Oregon player to be gone than Ryan Cameron.
Did they give any details behind why they're making a change?
Not as far as I know. Chris, you're mute.
I was saying that I'm still wanting to know what the reason was, because it was sudden, and just because of what this past season was. Why would you? That's your guy, and all of a sudden he ain't going to be participatory in what this season could be a year right after we had. So that just seems strange to me. And then you're replacing them with Tigger of all people, as far as I'm concerned. That just okay. And then you got somebody saying his contract was up. Sign him again. What he wants, you know what I'm saying?
It could have been a John situation.
If he wanted to go, that's his decision. But I want to know if that was the reason, though.
Well, I don't know.
I don't even associate Big Tigger with Atlanta, to be honest with you.
I don't either.
What is the connection? Is he from Atlanta? I mean, did he play at McEachern? Did he play at
I don't think so.
He just came down here to do Atlanta radio, and he's been here for a little bit, but he ain't been here long enough to claim Atlanta.
That's like getting Hugh. That's like getting Hugh to come in and do something. It's like how they have him doing the.
I mean, we got love for him. We got love for him. He just came down here. He done assimilated to the culture. You know what I'm saying? He's been immersed in the shit that we doing in Atlanta, and we done put our arms around him and brought him in. You know what I'm saying? And that's all good. But in a spot like that, I feel like you need to have somebody that exude what Atlanta means, what Georgia means. You want one of yours in that spot. You know what I'm saying?
Just have more options.
And, you know what I'm saying?
Or bring in a female. Or bring in a female. Like there's so many, with the whole woke movement. Bring in
Renee Montgomery would be perfect. True. I would have took that. Renee Montgomery.
Yeah, so like a pretty,
But she running the shit, but she the owner of the dream.
Man, she do everything. She broadcasts the Hawks game with
She's a
yeah, what I'm saying, she got
Jerome
her plate already full.
Hey,
She probably can't DJ that good.
Well, guys, as always, man, I appreciate y'all stopping by, and I hope the fans enjoyed their favorite Hawks Hoopcast. We'll be here next week to chop it up. I'll be frantically in the background trying to get some splash pages and topics going throughout the week. But, man, we really have fun. I'm having a blast doing this. We're going to continue to give you content in the off-season, preseason, regular season, playoffs, and when we get to the finals. So with that said, man, anybody else got anything to add?
We're going to try to see if we get John Collins on around the ATL, since Cam is not going to be available till the beginning of the season. It's been a year since the last time we had John on, so now that he's officially a Hawk again, we're going to see if we can get him on the show and talk about all the cool stuff that happened in the offseason. So we'll see. How
about you, man? Eddie, you got anything? Where are you driving to? Tell us that.
I'm just leaving. Matter of fact, I'm just leaving Flowery Branch, where they got the training camp at. You know what I'm saying? I just had a big drop up there. But I'm headed back home, man. I just want to thank the.
No, I was just gonna say, did you throw a pass to Pitts?
I didn't want to show nobody up, man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody job today. I'm a good fella. I didn't want to do nobody like that. That's like me taking food out of person's kid's mouth, and my conscience won't allow me to do that.
That's
right.
But tomorrow I go up that bitch, I might hit somebody with a bullet. You feel? Yeah, man.
That's kind of cool.
I just want to thank the guys, man, for chiming in with us, man, and you know what I'm saying, just listening to what we got to say, man. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy just the whole setup, man. We're gonna bring. Hopefully, we got something to talk about next week.
Oh,
how shit going? It seems like we will. How long we've been to play that first summer league game next week?
Exactly. It's gonna roll right into summer league.
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty to talk about.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah,
well,
man.
Yeah. And I get. Go ahead. I guess with that said, we'll close the show. Cheers.
All right, later.